In the brutal world of Westeros, few names inspire as much fear, respect, and intrigue as Tywin Lannister, the Lord of Castle Rock, Warden of the West, and Hand of the King. Tywin wasn't just a powerful man, he was power, wearing it like a cloak of gold and crimson. Today, we're gonna dive into the life and legacy of the line that shaped the kingdom. Before we start the video, I just want to say thank you for 60 subscribers, and I've noticed that many of the viewers that are watching my videos aren't subscribed. Like 95% or 96% are subscribed. So please subscribe to the channel if you like my content. That would help me a lot. And hit the like button if you like the video, and comment below and give me some feedbacks if I gotta change something or I gotta add something. Please subscribe again. Please subscribe. That'll help me a lot. And thank you. And let's enjoy the Tywin Lannister story. Tywin was the firstborn of Titus Lannister and Jane Marbrand. According to the legend, the baby bit the finger of his grandsire, Lord Gerald Lannister. Lord Titus agreed to marry his daughter, Jaina, to Aemon Frey, the second son of Lord Walder Frey, just to please the Lord of the Crossen. The wedding was announced at a feast in 252 AC, with most of the Western lords in attendance. Upon the announcement, Lord Roger Reyne left the hall in anger, and Aelin Reyne laughed aloud. Only the 10-year-old Tywin spoke out against the wedding because he thought it an even match. Shortly after the incident, Titus sent Tywin to King's Landing to serve as a royal page and a cupbearer at King Aegon V Targaryen, where Tywin befriended the young prince Aerys Targaryen, quote-unquote the Mad King, and Stephen Baratheon, the heir to Storm's End. For those of you who don't know Stephen Baratheon, he is the father of Robert Renly Stannis. His cousin Joanna Lannister also served at the royal court as a companion and lady-in-waiting to Princess Rhaella Targaryen since 259 AC. During the War of the Nine Penny Kings in 260 AC, 11,000 Westermen under the leadership of Tywin's uncle, Sir Jason Lannister, were sent to fight beside other forces of the Iron Throne in the Stepstones. Tywin, who was already a knight, joined the Lannister force, as did his brothers Kevan and Tyget, as squires. The young Prince Aerys Targaryen served as a squire during the war, and when he won his knighthood, Tywin was granted the honor of knighting his friend. So basically, Tywin Lannister was the one who knighted Aerys Targaryen. Since Lord Titus Lannister was a weak ruler who was taken advantage of by his bannermen, Tywin and his brothers sought to restore the prestige of House Lannister after their return from the Stepstones. Tywin demanded repayment of gold his father lent out, and those who could not repay immediately had to send hostage to Castle Rock until the debt was settled. Sir Kevan Lannister was given command of 500 veteran knights tasked with riding the Westerlands of robber knights and outlaws. Sir Harris Swift, the Knight of Cornfield, surrendered his daughter Dorna into Kevan's custody, but Roger Reyne, Lord of Castamere, repeatedly laughed at Tywin's edicts. When Lord Reyne-Tarbeck of Tarbeck Hall rode to confront Titus, who was not present at the Rock, the young Tywin ordered Walderan imprisoned for disloyalty. Walderan's wife, Ellen, responded by seizing Tywin's cousin Stafford and two Lannisters of Lannisport. Lord Titus ordered the hostages to be exchanged and forgave House Tarbeck's debt to House Lannister. Late in 261 AC, Tywin provoked House Reyne and Tarbeck by ordering that Roger and Walderan appear at Castle Rock to answer for their crimes. When the accused instead renounced their allegiance to House Lannister, Tywin raised an army without his lordly father's leave. Tywin defeated Walderan in a battle, then destroyed Tarbeck Hall, with Ellen, his wife, dying during its collapse. Tywin then defeated Roger, who fled back to Castamere. Instead of waiting for the subterranean castle to surrender, Tywin ended the Reyne-Tarbeck revolt by diverting a nearby stream into Castamere, drawing the Reynes within. The ruined castles were left as reminders of the fate that awaits those who scorn the power of Castle Rock. And the Rains of Castamere, the song, was written as a tribute to the event. When Lord Farman of Fair Castle grew truculent years later, Tywin had an envoy perform the song with a lute. Lord Farman caused no further trouble after hearing the message. Upon the death of King Jaehaerys II Targaryen in 262 AC, the newly crowned king, Aerys II Targaryen, retired the cautious Edgar Sloane as Hand of the King. Aerys chose his friend Tywin as the new hand, impressed by his ruthlessness demonstrated in the Reyne-Tarbeck revolt. Sir Tywin was the youngest man to yet serve as a hand. With Tywin proving himself to be a brilliant administrator, the Seven Kingdoms prospered during the first decade of Aerys' rule. Tywin covered King Jaehaerys' debts to the Iron Bank of Bravos with gold from Castle Rock. He gained the loyalty of many lords by repealing reforms enacted by Aerys' grandsire, King Aegon V, and he supported the merchants of King's Landing's Lannisport and Old Town. In 263 AC, Tywin married his cousin Joanna Lannister. Jaina Lannister said that her brother smiled on the day he wed Joanna. According to Sir Barristan Selmy of the Kingsguard, Aerys lusted after Tywin's wife during the bidding custom. Queen Rhaella Targaryen dismissed Joanna from her service, so the young bride returned to Castle Rock. In 266 AC, Joanna gave birth to the twins Cersei and Jaime Lannister. When Lord Titus Lannister keeled over of a burst heart in 267 AC, while climbing a flight of steps to visit his second mistress, Sir Tywin succeeded his father as Lord of Castle Rock and Warden of the West. Upon his return to the Rock, Tywin forced the mistress on a walk of atonement through Lannisport before banishing her from the Westerlands. Walk of atonement is like the walk of shame that we saw in Game of Thrones. Aerys and Tywin ruled the realm from Castle Rock that year. Relations were frayed between the king and his hand when they returned to King's Landing in 268 AC, and Aerys began to overrule many of Tywin's decisions and appointments. Tywin offered to resign after Aerys insulted Joanna at the anniversary tourney in 272 AC, but Aerys refused the resignation. Disaster struck in 273 AC when Joanna died giving birth to Tyrion, the dwarf. Tywin was devastated by her death and took no further wife. Tyrion Lannister once told his nephew Tyrion that the best part of Tywin died when Joanna did, and Tywin has blamed Tyrion for Joanna's death. Some people joke that it was Tywin and not the king who really ruled the land. When Sir Alan Payne, the captain of Tywin's guards, made such a comment, Aerys had the knight's tongue removed. During the tournament in honor of Viserys' birth in Lannisport in 276 AC, the small folk of Lannisport cheered twice as loud as Tywin as they did for their king. Tension increased during the tourney when Aerys refused Tywin's offer to betroth Cersei to his heir, Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, as Aerys considered Tywin to be a servant. Aerys also refused to allow Jaime to serve as Rhaegar's squire. In 277 AC, Tywin advised Aerys against meeting with Denys Darkland, Lord of Duskendale, over a trade issue, and the king ended up imprisoned by House Darkland in the Dunfort. In response for the defiance of Duskendale, Tywin blockaded the town by land and sea. Tywin eventually threatened to storm the town, but Barristan Selmy of the Kingsguard was able to infiltrate Duskendale and rescue the king. However, in the aftermath of his captivity, Aerys came to believe that Tywin had intended to the king to die at Duskendale and be replaced by Rhaegar, who would then marry Tywin's daughter Cersei. When Steffon Baratheon drowned in the sinking of Windproud in Shipbreaker Bay, Aerys feared that the Lord of Storm's End had somehow been assassinated by Tywin. Aerys decided to only meet with Tywin in the presence of the King's Guard. Tywin hoped to betroth Jaime to Alyssa Tully, the second daughter of Lord Hoster Tully. In 281 AC, however, Aerys raised the 15-year-old Jaime to the Kingsguard to replace Sir Hallan Grandison, robbing Tywin of his prized heir and making Jaime a hostage to use against his father. Pleading illness, Tywin resigned and returned to Castle Rock. He was replaced as hand with Lord Owen Merryweather. Tywin chose not to attend the Great Tourney at Harrenhal in 281 AC. When Robert's rebellion began, Lord Tywin ignored calls to arms from both King Aerys II Targaryen and rebels. After the king dismissed Lord Owen Merryweather, Tywin disapproved of John Connington, Lord of Griffin's Root, and headstrong friend of Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, as the new hand of the king. Tywin took no side until after the Battle of the Trident, in which Robert Baratheon killed Rhaegar. Tywin rode from Castle Rock to the capital of King's Landing. After Aerys was convinced by Pycelle that Tywin had come to aid him, the king ordered the gates of the city opened for Tywin. His western men proceeded to sack the city. However, Aerys was killed by Jaime Lannister before Tywin's forces arrived at the Red Keep. But Gregor Clegane the Mountain and Amory Lorch, knights sworn to Tywin's and under Tywin's orders, killed Rhaegar's wife, Elia Martell, and her two young children, Rhaenys and Aegon. Tywin wrapped the bodies in crimson Lannister cloaks to better conceal the blood, and presented them to Robert as a token of fealty. While earning House Lannister the hatred of both House Martell of Dorne and the population of King's Landing, this act led to the marriage of the new king, Robert, and Tywin's daughter Cersei. Tywin offered Targaryen loyalists like Alliser Thorne and Jeremy Rykard the choice between taking the Black or facing executions. After Robert's rebellion, Lord Tywin returned to Castle Rock, where he continued to serve as Warden of the West. At the wedding of Robert Baratheon and Cersei Lannister, the new king appointed Sir Ellen Payne as the king's justice as a gift for Tywin. When Tywin discovered his son Tyrion had with a common girl, Tysha, which in Tywin's eyes would make House Lannister a laughingstock again, Tywin taught him a sharp lesson. He commanded Tyrion's older brother Jaime to name Tysha a prostitute and made Tyrion watch as Tywin gave her over his guards, having each man pay the girl a silver coin after raping her. He forced Tyrion to do the same but pay Tysha a gold coin. Tywin earned the enmity of his son forever for that act. But Tywin did not care, for it was on his other children that he placed all his hopes. When Tyrion was turning 16, Tywin refused to allow him to travel and see the world, as Tywin's brothers had in their youth, fearing Tyrion would bring further shame on House Lannister. Tywin instead put his son in charge of the drains and cisterns of Castle Rock. In 289 AC, Balon Greyjoy, Lord of the Iron Islands, began Greyjoy's rebellion against King Robert through the burning of the Lannister fleet at Lannisport. After the defeat of the Greyjoys, Tywin rebuilt the Lannister fleet and hosted another tourney at Lannisport. Tywin then sent men in search of Gerion Lannister after his brother disappeared, but the Laughing Lion was not found. Due to Robert's financial mismanagement of the realm, as well as his own new connection to the throne by marriage, Lord Tywin frequently lent money to the crown, placing the court in King's Landing in debt, over 3 million gold dragons to House Lannister. So this was the story of Tywin Lannister, one of the most complex characters George R. Martin has ever made. I think he has a lot of haters, and it's understandable, but I think even his haters respect him. They respect his leadership and his intelligence and how he made House Lannister so fearful. To be honest, I didn't complete the full story, like the recent event of the 4 books, because I think Game of Thrones, the show, has well represented it. I think Tywin Lannister, the books, is very similar to Tywin Lannister, the show. Like, there aren't many differences in the story. And if you guys want to part 2, I can do it. Just comment below, and I can do a part 2. I don't think it's necessary, but if you guys want it, I will do it. So this was it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like the video, and please, as I said in the first part of the video, please subscribe to the channel, please, and hit the like button. It will help me a lot. Take care, fellas.